This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Rachel Fife.
Well, welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Now, are you in search of a therapist or a counselor? Well, that resource is closer than you think. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing your good neighbor, Brian Whitley, who is a counselor and a therapist. Brian, how's it going?
Great. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Well, we're really excited to learn about your practice. So tell us about your therapy and counselor practice.
Yeah, so I work in private practice as a marriage and family therapist. My clients are divided between 50% couples and the other 50% individuals. The individual counseling that I provide, I have some specialties working with addiction, with obsessive compulsive disorder, and also working with members of the police and fire department. Mm-hmm. And then the other half of my work is with couples. In that work, I'm working with all of the different relationship problems that a couple could present. And I also use this very specific protocol to help clients when maybe one spouse is considering leaving the marriage and the other spouse wants to save it. So there's a distinct protocol that I use for that called discernment counseling.
Wow. Well, how did you get into this kind of business?
So I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area and knew friends whose father was in different federal law enforcement agencies. And I was always interested in psychology. So I wanted to do this enforcement and interested in psychology. So out of college, I tried to get into a federal agency, but they were on a hiring freeze. And so the advice I was given is get some local law enforcement first, and then you can always come back to federal. I did that, really liked local law enforcement. I was a police officer working patrol for most of my career. The team that I landed on, I had a partner get shot and another partner had a whole bunch of bad things happen to them, and they did not have any sort of backup plan for what they were going to do after law enforcement. So I wanted to get a backup plan. I took one class in a local master's program, really liked it. And the plan was that I would go through my master's, get my intern hours, and then to be able to retire when I was old enough from the police department and transition into this work. That all happened just about 10 years too early. About 11 years into my career, I had a shoulder injury. So I wasn't able to work anymore as a police officer and then transitioned into being a therapist.
Wow. Well, now what do you think are some myths or misconceptions in your industry?
I think oftentimes people think of counselors and they think of them as a good listener, that if they go to a counselor, they're going to be able to share their frustrations or their hurt or their disappointment, and the therapist is going to be a good listener. And while I believe that is important for the therapist to be compassionate and empathetic, I also believe it's important that clients feel like they're working towards their goals. And so instead of just being a good listener, I'm also really engaged with my clients, helping them identify goals, and then in the sessions working towards them. And I would say for those out there who are maybe in a therapy where you're just getting good listening, there are therapists out there who are more directive.
Okay. Now, we know marketing is really the heart of every business. So how are you finding clients for your practice?
So for the most part, it's two things. Either online searches that my website comes up when people search for different things. And then referrals is the other big category, whether it's clients that I've worked with or are working with will tell people about me. Having people that are like physicians or somebody who is working with a lot of the public, I'll get referrals from those clinicians as well.
Wonderful. Now, have you ever thought about doing your own podcast?
I haven't. It sounds interesting, but it also sounds a little overwhelming to try to figure it all out and fit that into my schedule.
Yeah, I bet. Now, outside of work, what do you like to do for fun?
I love anything ocean related. So I love reading a good book at the beach. My wife and I will go on exercise walks down at the beach. I love tropical locations to snorkel and scuba dive. And then for winter activities, I love to snowboard. So I'm always trying to get up to the mountains any chance I get.
Wonderful. Now, Brian, please tell our listeners one thing they should remember about Brian Whitley, counselor and therapist.
I think what I would want people to remember is that I am an option for those who want to make changes in their life and are ready to do that work, that I will do that direct work with my clients and be very diligent as we're working to make sure that the counseling that I'm providing is meaningful for the client.
Wonderful. Well, how can our listeners learn more about Brian Whitley, counselor?
So I think the best way is through my website, and it's pretty easy. It's just my name, brianwhittley.com.
Okay.
And on the website, there's an opportunity to schedule a free consultation, and I'd be happy to talk about my practice and also hear maybe ways that I could be helpful for clients. So I invite people to reach out.
Wonderful. Well, Brian, I really appreciate you being on the show, and we wish you and your practice really all the success moving forward.
Thank you very much, Rachel. I appreciate it.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnporangecounty.com. That's gnporangecounty.com or call 714-941-8862.
Well, great job. I forgot to kind of let you